last 3 days, I've been watching what's going on with the live feed of the feed. And they're breaking up some sort of map now.
Yeah, Henning, if you can reconnect, that would be great. So, Griff, as like I said before, the things are getting pretty dire around here. We have the oil spill that's going on. We have the Iranian conflict that's going on. We got the economy going to hell in a handbasket. There is talk of this RAP movement. You have said before that preparing yourself and your family is paramount. Would you say that our time is short, or is it getting shorter? Do you feel more of a sense of urgency now than you have before?
Oh yes, I do. That's what we should focus on. That's all we should focus on. The other is just fun information to know, and it's curious to figure out, but it has no bearing on our survival. We should focus on self and family, and that's all. That's a difficult thing. It's a difficult job preparing, and you don't have very much time left. Some people have been working on it for 5, 6, 7 years and still are not up to speed. But that's my recommendation. Every day, every second. Nothing is more important right now. Your job, nothing. Forget about cutting the grass, painting the house. Everything should be focused on self and family survival. Joe?
Yep, no, I totally agree.
You notice how the static is cleared up?
Yeah. I notice how the static is clear. It's funny, I don't hear the static. And I reconnected once already, and I'm just kind of relying on my wife who's sitting next to me and listening to it to kind of give me an idea of what's going on, and if it does come back. If it does come back, I'm dialing in. So self and family, folks, is important. Now, as far as civil unrest from all this, do you see or foresee a civil unrest scenario unfolding, Griff?
Yes, I do. And there's no way to really protect yourself. We've got 300 million people that are going to be hungry,
right.
And they are going to be hungry, and many of them without shelter. And if these scenarios start playing out all at the same time, you're going to have one heck of a problem on your hands, and they're going to turn on each other. That's what I see happening. I'm absolutely certain that will occur at some point in time.
And when it does start, it only takes 3 days.
Hey, Andrew, do me a favor.
Yeah,
Andrew,
man.
do me a favor and reconnect. If
All
you
right.
could, that would be good. Reconnect for me.
All right.
You're breaking up too. Now, we've been seeing the increase in earthquakes, and it's been pretty consistent. Now, how much of that do you attribute to scalar, and how much of that do you attribute to cosmic factors?
I think a lot of the earthquakes, this is just my opinion now, typically in California you've had earthquakes along those fault lines for a long time, and they are occurring and reoccurring. But some of them, like the East Tennessee and east of Oklahoma City, that's not normal. I've watched those for a long time, and it's just not a normal thing. We had one here in Virginia some years ago, and it really made an impression on me. It was 60, 70 miles away to the southwest of where I'm sitting. And I was sitting in my chair facing a brick wall. And when it happened 60, 70 miles away, I thought a helicopter had crashed down through the roof of the house. It was so loud. And the sound was coming down. The big radio station here in Virginia, WRVA, 50,000 watts, was on at the time, and they received a telephone call from a man at ground zero. and he said his ears are still ringing from the explosion that he heard over ground zero. Now, that's not a normal earthquake. It's not. That's a scalar hit. So they hit a fault zone here in western Virginia, but it was not a normal earthquake at all. I thought it was coming through the roof 60, 70 miles away, and he still had hearing problems because of the explosion that occurred. So you have a combination of both. Your scalar hits could very well be mixed in with normal earthquakes, or the scalar could be setting off conditions that cause normal earthquakes to occur. So you would have a hard time separating some of them. But we know that the scalar is used to manipulate weather patterns and weather manipulation over North America, and that's been going on for many years. And that's coming from the FSB in Russia. They have leased out their scalar transmitters. Simply put, they've leased them out to terrorists to use against North American weather. But it can be applied in other ways, and it is being applied. So there's layers and layers of things going on all at one time. Let me take a break here. Back to you, Joe, and there's something else I want to say if you're able to hear me okay.
I can hear you now.
Yes. Well, it depends on what we talk about, I suppose, whether or not we have interference, static on the line. I want to announce one thing that troubles me greatly. You know, I said some time ago there was $27 trillion sucked out of international banking by the Ambassador Leo Wanta effort under the Reagan administration, causing the Soviet ruble to collapse. That's what brought down the Soviet Union. It was a plan, and they did it. They had $27 trillion left in the accounts from other countries that put up a lot of money to accomplish this. Recently, $4.5 trillion was transferred out of China to the Bank of America here in Richmond, Virginia. The Fed, Henry Paulson, the administration stole it out of the account, and they moved it to New York and dispersed it. $4.5 trillion. It was illegal. They did it. They told me they did it over the phone. I called the Fed, talked to one of the lawyers, and he acknowledged. It's unreal that he did that, but he did. Now, there was one man in the world that was reporting. He was on top of this thing and reporting it, every little tittle of information having to do with the 27 trillion. It would come out of England. The man's name was Christopher Story. He was the number one sleuth on this story. And every month, new information would come out with names of people, and he talked about the Interpol that Obama had decreed through executive order allowing Interpol to come into the country. They came to Richmond, Virginia, Bank of America first. They're looking for their money. Countries all over the world put up money, and they want it back, and they're beyond angry because they're not getting it back. Now, so Wanta gave Interpol freedom to come in the country, exempted them from all of the laws, and their secret is that they're very quietly going after the money in this country right now, because that is what caused world banking to collapse. It didn't have anything to do with mortgages. It had to do with Leo Wanta's $27 trillion they sucked out off the books of world banking. And that's why banks all over the world are in trouble. Now, Christopher Story was a respected Englishman. Ran an investigation on this and published it every month. And he was a thorn in their side. He reported some time ago that his life had been threatened, and on and on about chances of being assassinated. A couple of weeks ago, Christopher Story was killed. He was taken out. Now, that really troubles me a lot. It really does, because he named names and people, and some of these people are the same people that are here in the United States.